Hi there. Today is Saturday, the 5th of July, 2025. I hope you're all doing well. And of course, this is, as always, I think I'm John Anthony Francis Wilcox. I may be an imposter. I don't know. Check under the carriage for sure, to be sure. Whatever's the more literate of that. So, since last week, my big thing was doing the Ren Fair. Monday, I wrote up my review, edited a bunch of, I think, 39 pictures, and put it all up on Prog Sheet, send it out. They were happy with it. My friend Marcy was happy with it. I was happy with it, and that was good. The other thing for me this week in terms of work was I got in two CDs to review that are remasters of the two Arista albums from a band I adore from the 70s called Happy the Man. Great progressive band. And I'm waiting to hear back from the bass player because I have a solid issue with them. They overall sound good. They sound very good, but they're missing stuff. Particularly, a great example is there's a song. I'm sorry if I'm talking about stuff you guys don't know. There's a song called Wind Up Doll Day Wind, and there's a part of the song that I'm going to imitate where the vocal goes wind up, then you hear a like a key being wound up. Doll. Well, when you listen to the master, it's not there. It's like way, almost like a little echo of it is way back, which wasn't in the original mix. And there's other percussion things which makes me think that when they did the mastering at AIR Studios, the guy that did them might have accidentally turned off whatever track that was on or turned it down or something. But I've noticed it in both albums on different songs. It's mostly percussion, but there are a few other things as well. And they're not reveals as much as they are omissions. So they're with the omissions it's still beautiful sounding, but you know what I'm saying? It's not complete. It's not what, these are albums I've listened to at least hundreds of times. So it's sort of in your DNA, and when it's different, you notice it. And that includes when something's not there. And there's bits that are not there. So I'm waiting to hear again from the bass player. He's going to give them a listen and let me know. I already heard from the label themselves, and they were kind of nasty. They were like, "Well, what you have is what they gave us." Uh, well, if you say so. Well, it just seems to me like something that needs to be fixed. I hope it is. I hope it's not like, well, too bad. That's what we got. So I don't know. It's a hurry up and wait. So I'm waiting. So, separate issue, but related. I was thinking a lot about music, and I was thinking about because a song title came into my head from the band called Spock's Beard. They have a nice song called "The Healing Colors of Sound," and I got to thinking about that in terms of my life because I was also thinking that in September it will have been 4 years ago that I went into the hospital where I almost died. So I was in the hospital for a month and rehab for a month. And in rehab for a month, I've actually got to say it. Pardon me while I'm out of frame for a moment. So my friend Bob's girlfriend gave me this, which is an Amazon Fire thingy thing, stuff thingy thing. And there, as opposed to here, they hooked it up to the internet for me. And so I distinctly remember two things that were a big help to me. I love the old song by Keith from '68 called 98.6. And I remember being in the mood to hear it so much I listened to it 10 times in a row. And I had these headphones that I brought with me that had seen better days, and in fact, like, they had fake leather, and I don't know if you've seen stuff like this, but the fake leather outside would literally be flaking off as you touched it, and I found out afterwards, like, I saw a picture of myself, and it looked like I had all these big black flecks on my head, but it was from the headphone fake stuff flaking off. But the thing that was a big thing for me and very helpful um, in the rehab was a album by a band from Japan called the Pizzicato Five that I know I've mentioned before, and somewhere I know I've put up 6 songs of Pizzicato Five, but they have an album called Romantique, and then a year I think it's Romantique '95 or '96, and I love this album, and so I found that I could listen to it online. And so that's what I did. I would sit and I would have, on my loneliest of days, pardon me, I would put the headphones on, close my eyes, and listen to Romantique. And I felt better. I felt connected to being home. And that kind of stuff, did it save my life? No. Did it save my sanity? Quite possibly. It definitely kept me from the despair I was feeling. I haven't really talked about that level of stuff, but I felt in the hospital and in the rehab very, very lonely and depressed because, I had COVID in the hospital and no one could really come visit me. So that was a month of isolation, only seeing strangers and talking to people on the phone. And I saw people a little bit more in rehab, but not much more. And there was a lot of, in both places, a lot of internal politics that the longer you were there, the more you had to deal with it and see it going on. And it was very frustrating. I don't like not being in control of me. And especially when I still couldn't walk. That's what the rehab was for. Uh, to know that I can't even stand up, and I am confined to this bed, and everything that occurs must be in this bed. And it was a driving thing. That's why I got to the point where I could walk enough. But the music helped. And in the case in the rehab, it was Keith with 98.6, and it was the Pizzicato 5 with their Romantique album. And it made a huge difference for my state of mind. Now, here we're almost 4 years later. My legs have never fully healed, and they're never going to, sadly, that I'm aware of. Who knows? I always remain hopeful because science moves on, despite the cuts to it here. In the rest of the world, science moves on. So who knows if there's something where they go, take this and it will strengthen your legs, because I do exercises and that, but my issue is also that because I have severe neuropathy in my feet and that, I have no balance. If I stood up right now and took 2 steps, I would fall straight down on the floor. I can't do it, unless I'm holding on to something. That's why I have this cane that takes me to my walker that's in the hall. And if I'm in the house, I'm always using one or the other. I have a cane, in fact, in the other end of the house too. So because this goes to get the walker there, and the other cane is for when I have my nephew Michael put the wheelchair right outside the door, and I can take a step with the cane to hold on to the table where the lamp is, like a little short table to hold on to the doorknob to reach over and hold on to the wheelchair. It's a process. Everything takes longer than it used to. But anyway, doesn't stop me. More to come. I've got on the 18th, I've got a convention I'll be going to again with my friend Pete. So adventure continues. Beyond that, it's also a week of really bad stomach all week. Something did it. I don't know what. But there you go. So that's, waiting to hear back from people too about future interviews and stuff like that. Who did I talk to this week? Not many people. I talked to Pete, a few dribs of drabs. You know, it's been a very isolated time once again, more so than even like a year ago. Such is life. So that's going to do it for today. I thank you all for coming on board and watching this. I love you all. Hope you're well. Bye bye.